action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think GameTime Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to GameTime Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than GameTime Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into GameTime Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this once? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on Sport.
Welcome in the madness. Day two, it continues, and we have got you covered here on the SportsGrid Network. It is GameTime Decisions. I'm Joe Raineri. Certainly appreciate you taking time out of the madness to join us as we just finished one crazy game for sure, watching St. Mary's on a 37-27 second half come back and beat Vanderbilt 59-56. Did not get the cover, though, good old St. Mary's, but at this point, they don't really care, do they? Because they are advancing as a 7 seed, so much for the SEC. And the SEC also in trouble with Ole Miss here right now, who opened up a 44-26 lead on North Carolina. The problem is North Carolina's on a 33-21 second half run. It is a 6-point game with about 2.5 minutes to go. Can the ACC make a little run here over the SEC? Can North Carolina get it done? We will keep you posted. And oh yeah, Maryland, 42-28 in the first half, destroying Grand Canyon, who apparently has never met a three they didn't like to take. They also have never met a three they can make, apparently, because they were abysmal in the first half from the perimeter. Will that change in the second half? Well, they were getting 10.5, 11, 11.5 points, depending on when you might have bet them. But that was a very popular upset as a 13 seed, Grand Canyon over number 4, Maryland. They have some work to do, and we've got plenty more, of course. March Madness coming your way. We got a full slate of NBA games here tonight, getting down to the nitty gritty. Who cares about the remaining regular season games and who doesn't? Seems to be a big theme in the NBA. Let's bring in our good friend Adam Kaufman here on the grid, who you can't tell me the Cleveland Cavaliers give a rip about what happens the remaining of the regular season, and you can't convince me that they're going to go into Phoenix, who's desperate, and they're going to care and act as if this is the end-all be-all here tonight, Adam. I ain't laying 8.5, 9 points with this Cavs team. They clearly have their eyes on the postseason.
I do have thoughts on this game, Joe, and I know I'm here to give you thoughts on this game, but can we just for a second go back to St. Mary's and what you brought up as far as not covering that number? Because I want these officials investigated, and I'm not kidding. Did you watch the very end? I mean the very end, the last like 10 seconds of this game. For anyone out there who did, all right, as we know, you highlighted it. It was a great comeback by St. Mary's to win the game in general. Down double figures against Vanderbilt. Looked like the Commodores are going to cruise. St. Mary's comes back, steals the win for those of us that were invested in St. Mary's. Great, wonderful, awesome. We live to fight another day. However, as far as covering what was a 4.5 point spread, they won by 3. Now, here's the way this thing ended, and I'm talking again, final 10 seconds. You see a guy for St. Mary's go to the free throw line. This big, oafy, 8-foot looking dude who shoots 50% from the charity stripe on the year. He goes 1 for 2. So they're up by 3. Vandy comes back the other way, takes a 3-pointer, misses it. If St. Mary's had just gotten the rebound, fine. They get fouled. They go to the line. You have a chance to get the cover, but they don't. Vandy, offensive rebound, and then takes another 3. They miss it. This time, St. Mary's comes down with the rebound, and this was with like a second, maybe even half a second left. They come down with the rebound, and the dude for Vandy, two-handed slap to the back of the guy who got the rebound, absolutely, unequivocally was fouled. It should have been free throws on the other side with a chance for those of us to get the cover, but the ref said, screw it, game's over anyway. What's the difference? The end. It's over. We're done. And you know what? Like, money changed hands with that, all right? Like, some of us lost loot or some made money on the other side. When you get a clear foul, I don't care if there's a second left. There's a clear foul. He should have been shooting free throws, Joe. I'm sorry. I had to get that off my chest just for a second because it was really kind of irritating me, and nobody's home at my house. I had no one to talk to about it.
I love it. That is why they call it madness here. Also, madness is that North Carolina is within 4 with 2.5 minutes to go here, 65-61 right now, just about 2 minutes to play. Can Ole Miss hold on here? This should be a pretty fun one down the stretch. We do have a couple of games also coming up here at the top of the hour. The 7 o'clock hour will be interesting as we'll have Akron and Arizona. We'll have Troy and Kentucky. And I do believe we will also have, just the 6:50 game, which is going to be Florida and Norfolk. And I know you had mentioned that this was a game where, listen, we've seen the 1 seeds. We've seen the 1 seeds handle business. We saw Houston. I don't care what the number was. You're not betting against Houston not covering 20, 30 points. We saw Duke just do it earlier today to teams that are completely overmatched. Norfolk State is completely overmatched. There's, now the 2 seeds are different, right? I mean, the Alabamas of the world who struggled early. Sure. We saw Texas Tech struggle as a 3 seed last night. Yeah, that's one thing. But when you're Florida taking on Norfolk State, I'm not at the least bit worried about laying 28.5 points. They will name their score and likely will run away with this thing by, I don't see them taking their foot off the gas either.
No, I mean, I heard you say on the show yesterday, or maybe it was us talking off air, I don't remember at this point, but you had said, like, Florida could win this thing by 40, 50 points. So and I agree with you. It is, as you just said, it's a name your number kind of game, just as Duke was. And by the way, Duke winning and basically, doubling up on the other side, that doesn't matter. That was expected. That's why, like, the money line for Duke was like minus 10,000 or some egregious number. The only thing that matters for Duke, if you're a Duke backer in general, is that Cooper Flagg looks just fine. There were concerns. What's he going to look like coming back from the injury? Obviously missed the end of the conference tournament, and he comes back in. He has 14 points, shot well, rebounded, got some assists, limited minutes, didn't matter. He's going to be fine. I invested pre-tournament, at chalky as it sounds, in a Duke future at plus 320 to win the whole thing through a bonus bet on it, because I do think far and away the Blue Devils are the best team in the nation so long as you have a healthy Cooper Flagg, and you do. You mentioned Florida, and I'm with you. I think this is a situation where the Gators go out and trounce. Remember, if for people that filled out brackets or placed futures on the NCAA tournament, basically anyone, as far as the chalk goes, I mean, obviously, if you had like a St. John's or something like that, that's another story. But as far as the chalk goes, if you didn't invest in Duke to win the whole thing, odds are you invested in Florida. This team is awesome. It's so deep. It's so good. This is going to be a blowout game. This is one of those situations we had talked about it with like Bama and Robert Morris. You know, do you take RMU to cover? Do you take RMU just to cover in the first half? That game got awfully damn sweaty, by the way, before Alabama pulled away in the second half. I mean, there was a chance at a real steal on the other side at plus like, I don't know, 1,300 or whatever that number was on the money line for Robert Morris. Yep. This is not a game I screw around with that. This is Florida covers in the first half. This is Florida covers for the game. This is Florida over on team total. It's Gators Central all the way.
Yeah, I'm with you here, and I don't think they're going to want to sweat anything at any particular point here. Seeing exactly what it's them and Duke, the two favorites. Those are the odds-on favorites right now. In order to win it all, a lot of people have brackets, and it's either Duke, Florida, it's Houston, Florida, some combination. But we have an update with Ole Miss, North Carolina. We'll get to when Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
So my team didn't win this weekend, but I still did with this app that's taking over the game. Sports Millions Pick'em lets you make quick and easy predictions. Pick your favorite players, go higher or lower, and you can still win big even if your team loses. Plus, the multiplier is insane. With just a few picks, you can win big money. So get on it. They've got a welcome bonus to help you start off your winning streak.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity. I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
On the SportsGrid Network, Joe Raineri, joined once again by one Adam Kaufman as we're getting ready for the madness to continue throughout the night here. And we got a good one Right now, with the final 52 seconds left, North Carolina down 5 after a big 3 by Ole Miss. They had it within a bucket. 2 points, North Carolina fought all the way back, down 44-26 at the break. It's a 38-25 second half. They got about 52 seconds to see if they can get back in this. Anything can happen. That is why they call it madness. So stay tuned here. But we mentioned the NBA also full slate of games here tonight and some very interesting spots on the slate in the NBA. And really, you know, we talk in motivation when it comes to like the NIT, Adam, and the CBIs and these other tournaments, teams that want to be there and teams that could care less. We're kind of at that point in the NBA season where some teams, you know, they can't mess around anymore. They got to win some games to guarantee that they're going to the postseason. A lot of money involved here. And then there are other teams that are already locked in, could care less about, you know, now it's preservation. Let's just make sure we got enough in the tank when the postseason starts here, because it's a long postseason in the NBA. The Cavs look like one of those teams where they just don't care about what's going to happen here down the stretch. They've already locked on the top seed in the East. They clearly look like they're looking ahead. And then you got teams like, the Clippers, who it took them a little while to get revved up, and now they look absolutely unbeatable. So what do we do here at this point in the season and tonight on the card? Who are some of the teams you're focusing on?
Well, I think to some degree, and I know it's crazy to say this because we're sitting here, you know, not even 6:30 Eastern time, roughly a half hour, 45 minutes away from some of these games starting, and then it continues obviously throughout the night. But yeah, I think with some of them, when it comes to betting the spread, at least, you want to get into some props, especially overs, by all means, make your investment. When it comes to betting sides in some of these games, you might want to wait until damn near tip-off, because we have seen it time and time again during the NBA season, and especially of late where you have all of these quasi-meaningless games, as you alluded to, stars getting ruled out of nowhere. So-and-so scratched, illness, so-and-so who was questionable, quickly downgraded to doubtful, then he doesn't play. Someone who wasn't even on the injury report, just out of nowhere, doesn't go. Like right now, you mentioned the Cavs, and I would be inclined, just because of the motivational factor that you brought up, to back the Suns at plus 8.5, and they are home. They have Durant, who's playing well. Booker is playing great. You have, though, but like my trepidation is you have a fully loaded Cavs team on the other side. Nobody of significance is out right now. You have obviously Mitchell and Garland and Mobley and Allen and so on and so forth. All these guys are going to be out there as of this moment. But again, this game doesn't start for another 4 hours. Yeah. And in that time, Joe, it's entirely possible that we find out, Mitchell isn't going to play. Turns out Mobley's going to sit. And so the book right now is obviously telling you everyone's a go, which is why they are 8.5-point favorites on the road, which is significant. So if you, like me, are, one, worried someone may sit with Cleveland, and two, buy into the motivational factor for Cleveland, just take the Suns right now anyway, because that line is only going to shrink if someone does get ruled out for the Cavaliers. So plus 8.5, I'm not going to mess around and sprinkle the money line. I do think Cleveland wins this game. We've seen some weird upsets of late as well across the association, with teams going out and just not trying that hard. Like, the Timberwolves game against the Pelicans tonight, for instance. Minnesota should not lose back-to-back games against New Orleans, especially when Zion, is not available for New Orleans in this game, which is why the spread absolutely ballooned to 15 points. So money line parlays, throw Minnesota in. But when it comes to covering the 15, I bet the Pels still put up a fight, because Minnesota sort of foot off the gas. I think you see some of those moments.
Yeah, we also we have, Denver tonight, for instance, is another one of these situations where, Denver has not been playing good, but we also just watched them sit the Joker and Jamal Murray last game, and Mike Malone tells us they're pretty banged up. And we also know the experience on this, they don't care whether they're in the third, fourth, fifth. They don't care. But they do care that Jamal Murray and the Joker and Aaron Gordon are healthy enough to make a run at it. So, again, we could have nobody here for Denver taking on Portland in Portland. And I think Portland being a favorite tells you everything you need to know about the status of the Denver Nuggets.
Well, it tells you everything pretty much that you need to know about the injury report. You know, if you're looking at it and saying Portland's home, I get it, but a 1.5 favorite against Denver, I bet Jokic isn't playing. And you'd be right, Joker's sitting. Murray right now is questionable. I do think he goes, but I don't know that we're going to see that like 35, 40-point game out of Jamal Murray tonight. I still think, to your point, they're playing this kind of conservative. And so if he does sit, or even if he goes, but he's just kind of a version, a shell of what he normally is, especially when Joker's available and he can be that secondary scorer and not that featured guy, I actually would side with the favorite in this one. I think Portland probably wins this game. But there are some weird spots that, again, you got to be mindful of the injury report. Like, you know, Oklahoma City is laying 20 points at home tonight, Joe, against Charlotte. I know Charlotte's bad, but are they 20 points bad? And it's, LaMelo's not playing. Mark Williams isn't playing. You know, it's just Miles Bridges on the other side. This game could, and SGA obviously is in. So this thing could get ugly, could get out of hand in a hurry. And at that point in time, you think unders for Bridges because maybe he doesn't even play in the fourth quarter because they're down by 40. I would take Oklahoma City to cover the 20 points.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. We've already seen what they can do with all backups. There's really no point in looking anyplace else other than laying it, and maybe even laying it early in the first half in that one there. All right, Adam, we appreciate it as always, as we've got plenty of NBA, more March Madness coming up. We'll talk to you over the weekend, and Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple 18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think Game Time Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to Game Time Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the game starts so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into Game Time Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on Sport.
All right, welcome back in. Game Time Decisions here on this March Madness Friday. We got much more to get to, but we also got a lot going on with the NBA as well as NHL. Now would be a good time to check in with our friends Joe Madden and Tom Vecchio to see what they've got rolling tonight with their Sports Millions Pick'em. What do you guys got going on tonight?
Happy Friday, everyone. It's time to jump into our Sports Millions Pick'ems here on the grid. Now, Tom, yesterday I went 1-1. I saw Davis really step up for Arkansas. He was able to put 18 points on the board, which was great to see because his number was 14.5. I took that to the over, but was really disappointed in Hunter Dickinson coming out for Kansas. He struggled to get things going. He was only able to put up 11 points and 9 rebounds, and I was riding with him higher than 30.5 points and rebounds out there. So, you know what? Let's get the sweep today. Let's go 2-2 for both of us for our 3-time multipliers. What are you going to look at?
Yeah, yesterday I didn't get through with Mizzou. They obviously lost. They didn't get the points going. Let's turn to today. Arizona taking on Akron. Let's start with Arizona, one of the best scorers in the country. Caleb Love, higher than 19.5 points. I'm expecting just some points overall in this game. We look to Arizona. They are 12th in the country when it comes to KenPom offensive rating. They're also 63rd in pace. Akron is 13th in pace. So we're going to see some back and forth action. Akron, they're middle of the country when it comes to threes allowed per game. Love, no pun intended, what we're seeing from Love with 20-plus points in 4 of his last 10 games. He's their leading scorer. He gets it done. And, frankly, when we're looking at Akron's defense, which was 182nd in KenPom adjusted defensive rating, this is not going to provide too much resistance for Arizona. So they should be able to, I'm going to say, get close to 90 points. That's where their team total is sitting at. Back and forth action, plenty of action for Love. On the other side, Nate Johnson, I'm actually going to take him lower than 22.5 points, rebounds, and assists combined. He is their leading scorer. We look back at his recent game log. There's some games that he's going for 20-plus points alone, 30-plus points, but frankly, it can't all be left on his shoulders. Tavari Johnson and Isaiah Gray, they also need to step up. If Akron is going to have a shot, it can't be a one-man show. It can't just be their leading scorer. So when we see relative inconsistency from him overall, they're going to need the other components of the team to step up if they want to have a shot at taking down one of the best teams in the country. So I would say Caleb Love higher than 19.5 points. Again, he is awesome. Going to be pouring in the points. And then we're going to look to Nate Johnson from Akron, lower than 22.5 points plus rebounds plus assists combined, giving us a 3x multiplier. Joe, what do you got?
I think you've got a really great look there. I'm going to turn to Oklahoma here versus UConn. Now we know UConn has the experience finishing a third in the Big East, 23-10 record, earning them that number 8 seed. Dan Hurley is going to have this team ready. This team has the experience to make a run in the big dance here, but they're going to have issues here with Oklahoma. Oklahoma finished 14th in the set, going 20-13, earning that number 9 seed. I'm going to look at a couple of players here. I do think we've got some issues defensively for both of these teams. UConn used to be known as that really defensive presence, but we look at them now, they're allowing opponents to really shoot nicely from downtown at a 35% rate. So because of that, I'm going to look at Oklahoma's Jeremiah Fears. Now, they know they have to come out and isolate him, not allow him to get open in transition down the court because he is so strong in that open court. But I think they're going to struggle to be able to do so. I'll look at Jeremiah Fears here, higher than 19.5 points. You look at him, 3 of his last 4 games, he's been able to score 28 or more points in 3 of those. And then we look at him over the average of those 4, 25.5 points he's averaging. I do think here we're going to see him making those attempts from deep. And with UConn's defense really struggling to defend those threes, he should be able to capitalize on that and hit some of those threes, pushing us nicely over the 19.5 points. When I look here at UConn with solo ball should be able to get his points on the board. His number is coming in at 15.5, and I know it's above his average here, but when we look at Oklahoma and where they struggle, they're soft on the glass. Look for solo ball to get those extra looks as he wins the offensive rebounds and can get another shot into the basket. So I do think he'll have those chances. He's only averaging that 14.6 per game on the season, but I do think he can go higher than the 15.5. So give me Jeremiah Fears here of Oklahoma, higher than 19.5 points. Solo ball higher than 15.5 points for UConn for a 3-time multiplier on Sports Millions.
Let's close out the week with some wins as we head into an awesome weekend of college basketball.
Yeah, it's going to be a great weekend, you guys. Make sure you stay tuned to the grid for all of your Sports Millions pick'ems.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that roof. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
Just a little flyer, couple of thoughts.
15.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Anyone that's been to a sporting event, the atmosphere before a game, I think GameTime Decisions has that same exact atmosphere. This is our arena. This is what we do. There is going to be an energy to GameTime Decisions that you will feel night in and night out. The excitement you get when you lock your bets in, when you're figuring out what you want to do, we can zone in on the biggest games each night. I want this to be the place that people come to before the games start so they feel as ready as possible to lock in their cards. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than GameTime Decisions to get that new information, react to it, and be able to then bet accordingly. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune into GameTime Decisions from 6 to 8 p.m. Eastern on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The early line, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in Game Time Decisions on the SportsGrid network as madness ensues here today. Day 2 of the round of 64. And my goodness, we just watched North Carolina come so close to pulling the unbelievable comeback, but Ole Miss gets it done 71-64. They handle business. They advance while North Carolina, well, you want to play in game. I guess there's always that. But the ACC, once again, thank goodness they got Duke because they ain't got a whole lot else working for them right now. In the meantime, we also have Maryland handling business. Grand Canyon, a nice smooth 5 of 28 from 3 in this game. And half of those misses, by the way, are on wide open threes. So those of you that were hoping Grand Canyon would be one of those 13 seed ups. Yeah, no, not going to happen here today. But let's welcome in our good friend Tom Vecchio, who has been watching the madness here, Tom. And there was a lot of concern regarding this Maryland team who's had one of the top, 5 to 10 best offenses in the country. They got big men. They are Maryland, watching them, it feels like this is a team built for a tournament like this. They've got all the pieces they need. They can score at the best of them. They can defend. I don't know. Maybe not enough credit being given to this Maryland team.
Yeah, certainly. They had some ups and downs at the end of the season, at least from a box score perspective, when they're losing to Michigan, losing on a buzzer beater. So, like, the actual skill and where they sit may not be at top of mind when we have these other losses, that were somewhat big in terms of the moment that they happened, but they're still a very solid team overall. And obviously, I think people should be worried about it. It's not like they had an easy schedule to get here. Like, they went through a gauntlet in the Big Ten, and they are tested, and I think they're going to be a team to look out for.
Yeah, I can't disagree as I'm watching this team. I mean, Derek Queen is a absolute monster. Julian Reese, they got some big boys there that can play physical and get there with the best of them. So 68-45, 5.5 minutes ago in that one. Looks like Maryland will go on to win that game, but they do call it madness for a reason. Coming up in just about 20 minutes or so, number 1 Florida taking on Norfolk State. This is a line that is hovering still around 28 and a half. We just watched number 1 Duke absolutely destroy Mount St. Mary's. Florida is more than capable of doing the same here against Norfolk State. It feels like outside of Auburn, the other number 1 seed, everyone else handled business here. I wouldn't bet against Florida in this spot naming their score.
No, absolutely not. And obviously, Florida, a team you're very high on.
Yep.
The question is, if they cover, what happens with the total? And then are they going over their team total, which I'm seeing at 91.5? So, these are some of the games where I personally just don't have a whole lot of interest, where I'm not going to lay the nearly 30 points. If it jumps up much higher in game and you can get like a 40 or something, which I don't think is out of the realm of possibility, I'd be willing to take that just because I don't think too many teams lose by 40 outside of some of the results we got today. So I'm just going to stay away. And if we get a massive number in game, I'd be willing to take it.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's we have been playing and it's been extremely profitable. We talked about it yesterday, Tom. We're taking these big dogs in the first half. We're taking the points. And really, at this point, the only teams that have not covered have been the ones that played Houston and Duke. Everybody else, for the most part, who's been getting these obscene 18, 19, 20, 30 points, well, guess what? They may have been St. John's last night. They eventually got to the cover, but boy, oh boy, it didn't look that way against Omaha in the first half, and we saw it again today with Alabama and Robert Morris. So if I would go anything, I'd say, you know what? Give me the 17 points, 17 and a half points they're getting in the first half. Maybe Florida comes out a little bit leery there after having to play all that basketball in the SEC championship. You got New Mexico and Marquette, another very interesting game here. A lot of people high on this New Mexico team for this game. I don't like the Mountain West in the tournament, and the history tells us we probably shouldn't spend a whole lot of money on Mountain West teams. Colorado State aside, do we trust New Mexico here at against Marquette?
Whether you trust them, you want to lay the points. I know some people are big on the New Mexico money line today just because, it is what it is because, again, they are a strong team overall. I actually really like the under in this game. Under 151. New Mexico plays fast. There's no doubt about it. They're 4th in pace. Marquette is sitting at 154. These are very, I'm going to say opposing styles, but both teams are super solid on defense. Marquette was 22nd in KenPom defensive rating. New Mexico was up at 19th. I don't think New Mexico wants to run in general, but I don't think they want to run against a team like Marquette, who is a better offense compared to them. Marquette was 30th in KenPom offense. New Mexico was 83rd. So when push comes to shove, their defenses are roughly equal. But I don't think New Mexico wants to go out and run and get into a shooting contest with Marquette. So I side with the under. I don't want to lay the points with Marquette. That's just my personal opinion about them. But I wouldn't mind taking a live line with New Mexico if it jumps up just a little bit. But I think the under is absolutely by far my favorite play in this one.
Well, you're going to love it now because it's up to 154 and a half here. So a lot of that public, public loves overs. Nobody roots for an under. And they are pounding the over to get it up to 154 and a half. So if you liked it at 151 and a half, Tom, you're going to love it at this price right now. You also have, and styles make fights here. And I find this one fascinating with Arizona and Akron. It's one thing when you play in the MAC and you want to go. You want to be up tempo. You want to run up and down the court. It's a whole nother thing when you're doing exactly what Arizona wants you to do to play their style of game. Only Arizona has way more weapons in order to be able to bury you if you want to give them that many extra possessions. I like Arizona. This is one of those games I'm not afraid of laying the big number. I wasn't afraid of it with Iowa State today. you are not going to beat Arizona at its own game here, Tom, when it's all said and done, Akron. Sorry.
Yeah, I like Arizona on the spread, but I actually also like Arizona team total under 91.5. And you might be saying, okay, you like them to cover, but you like their team total under. Like, how does this work? Like, it's everything you alluded to. Akron plays so fast. Arizona also plays fast, but when push comes to shove, if Akron is going to have a shot in this game, it's not going to be going punch for punch with them and trying to win this game 95-90. Like, that is a losing formula for Akron. The only way they could theoretically win this is if Arizona has a super off night, Love is not hitting from the field, and they can win this game like 75 to 70, 75%. Like, they have to keep it close. They cannot allow Arizona to get out and run it. Akron does want to get out and run, but Arizona is by far the better offense, by far the better defense. I think Akron has to muck this game up. They have to turn this into a game that they're maybe not accustomed to playing, a slower game, and prevent Arizona, if they want to have any shot, and not even winning the game, but keeping it relatively close.
Yes, I agree. I think there is opportunity in this one here. I do like Arizona to get it done in that spot. By the way, 74-45, just embarrassing showing by Grand Canyon in this one here. Not a good game, but give Maryland credit in this one. What about that Troy-Kentucky game? Another one where it seems like the public, this is another trendy dog with Akron. Nobody thinks the injuries of Kentucky might be too much. I don't. Listen, either you can shoot or you can't shoot, Tom. We'll get your thoughts on this game when we come back. And I know that Kentucky, more than capable of scoring enough points here over Troy to be able to get this cover, but the public apparently thinks otherwise. So I think this is going to be an interesting one. That is coming up just after the top of the hour. We'll cover that. We'll talk some Xavier, Illinois. We'll do it when Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one? Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Knicks versus the top three teams in the league. Oklahoma City, Boston, Cleveland, 0-7. And you take out the 110-104 loss to Cleveland at home in October, and they lost by double digits every game. The Knicks will make the playoffs. Number one, do they fix their defensive problems? And two, are they actually healthy?
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
You have Duke the 1, Houston the 2. They're the two best defensive teams in the country. I want to see them play for the right to go to the Final Four because I think that would be a kick-ass game.
Duke is really great on both ends of the floor. You know, they can score and they can defend, and that's why they win by big numbers all the time, because they're really good on both ends of the floor. I don't trust Houston's offense.
Pharrell coast to coast, only on SportsGrid. The Eagles got it done. If you back them, you're celebrating. Football season may be over, but the action never stops.
Are you ready for some baseball?
At SportsGrid, we're always in the game. We bring you 24/7 betting insights, expert picks, and real-time analysis. Next big play is already in motion. Are you ready? It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right. right, welcome back in. Game Time Decisions here on a madness of a Friday, March Madness Day 2, as college basketball continues to be front and center, and we still got plenty of great games on tap before, of course, we head to the round of 32 and then eventually the Sweet 16. Tom Vecchio hanging with us. And Tom, let's talk about this Kentucky game coming up. Now, injuries a concern, but when you're Kentucky, the guys coming off the bench are all five-star players out of high school anyway. Who are we kidding? And I don't very much suspect that Troy is going to give them that much resistance where I think we should be worried here. The market and the public love Troy here. Another one of these opportunities for a big upset, right? I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, the line is suggesting that Troy's not going to be able to score with Kentucky. Troy's just not a good offense overall, where they won 82nd in offensive rank, and Kentucky's up at 3, averaging over 85 points a game. Like, the line is suggesting that even with the injuries, Kentucky's going to get out ahead, and they're going to have control the entire time. And Troy's just never going to be able to claw their way back in. And, I can buy into that from a theoretical standpoint, where like a roster standpoint, the talent is all on the Kentucky side of things. And this is a game, I'll be honest, I haven't bet. I think the Kentucky team total indicates that they would be covering, but I also am waiting. I am waiting to take a Troy if it gets close to 18 points, 19 points. Like, that's not out of the realm of possibility, where Kentucky comes out, they're shooting the lights out, everyone's pouring on Kentucky, and the line keeps moving and moving and moving, and we're going to get close to 20 points. And that's a number I think Troy can stay within. They're not going to win the game, but I am very interested in live lines. And a lot of this is what we do at In-Game Live, where I don't love a number at X. I'm waiting for it to get to Y. It may never get there, but that's the time you have to strike. Right. You have to be ready to do so.
Yeah, and it's they've been betting the total in this game. Like, everyone knows what the score is already. I saw it at, 149, 148 and a half. It's been bet up to, 152 now against Troy. And you mentioned it. Troy, not a great offensive team. Where are these points? If Troy ain't going to add the points, then how are we getting an over without Kentucky doing their thing?
Yeah, that's what it comes down to. Like, Kentucky, we've talked about this before. I always say, like, not exactly, but like, Kentucky has to do 75% of the work to get the over, at least close. Like, they have to put up their normal 80 some odd points, and then maybe like they're up by 25 and we see just a few extra shots made here or there. But like, the over would be in real question if Troy's not scoring.
I agree. I think it would be in big time question mode here. All right, coming up a little bit later there, the 9 o'clock hour, another slate of interesting games. How about the two-time defending champs, UConn, taking on Oklahoma? Again, trendy dog. Nobody thinks UConn, they're not as good as they've been in years past. Well, they're still good enough to beat OU. And the market continues to push. While everyone's betting OU, the line is moving towards UConn. I have 6s now across the board here. Oklahoma's not a great team. They're lucky to even be in this spot here. It's kind of hard to look anywhere but UConn in this spot, no?
Yeah, I can't bet this game because I'm in Connecticut, but the answer is UConn. We've talked about it before. Georgia, Oklahoma, Texas, these teams did not deserve to be even in the first 4 with like, these teams are not good. Right. And we talked about it all year. We did so many of these OU games on In-Game Live. I would lay points with Connecticut if I could. I can't, but Connecticut, if you can bet 5.5 where it is now, absolutely take that. They're better than OU. Like, UConn's not great this year, obviously, compared to where they were, but they are better than Oklahoma.
I agree with you there. I don't understand the fascination with OU, who is lucky to be here. Everyone was focusing on North Carolina.
I know the answer. Everyone bet UConn throughout the entire season because they're two-time defending champs, and they go, they're going to bounce back. They're going to bounce back. And they kept getting burned, and they say, you know what? I'm betting against them finally. OU's going to win the game. Correct. That's why.
Yep, that's correct. And you're right. Again, if it wasn't for North Carolina making it to the play-in, everyone would have focused on OU and been like, how did they make it in? They played nobody in the non-conference games. They played one of the weakest non-conference schedules, and they had a ridiculous, 7-13 record? Yeah. And all of a sudden, they are somehow in the tournament, but they have flown under the radar. But I think they get exposed here tonight in that one. What do we do with, I think it's a fascinating game, one that's probably going to get us a lot of points. No, Xavier in Illinois. Looks like Illinois continues to get the money and the love here. They're up to 4. It feels like an over in this spot, right? Are we getting an under here?
I wouldn't play the under, especially with a team like Illinois. They're top 20 in both offensive rating and pace, according to KenPom. So they can get out and score. Xavier, they're going to have to keep up. I would be inclined to take overs in this. I don't want to say like I'm trying for a skill shot, as Dave Sherapan likes to say, but part of me wants to take first half unders in a lot of these games, and then the scoring picks up. Like there's a little bit of trepidation with some of these teams. They come out a little bit nervous, but then they get into the rhythm, and then the scoring starts to pick up. So I've taken some first half unders, and then I still have full game overs, which I could really see happening here because Illinois, they can get out and score.
They absolutely can get out and score, and I do think they will score here tonight. As we're starting to see the money continue to roll in on them in this spot. Don't forget, Xavier played in Dayton in the play-in game, which is about 6 miles down the road from their campus. They won't have that kind of crowd support in this one here over in the South region. What about the game after that, which I think is fascinating? Bryant and Michigan State, 17 points. We're seeing a lot of public love, trendy dog for Bryant, who's another one of these teams that loves to run up and down as fast as they can and take a million shots. But I don't think they're going to dictate pace against Michigan State unless I'm missing something here.
Michigan State's awesome. They play super slow. We know this. We've done so many of their games. I would lean towards Bryant just because they're getting such a great number. But the answer is, if Bryant's not in it early, they won't be in it late. So if you can take them first half, they may cover that. But if they can't hang with Michigan State, they're not going to be in it, and they'll lose by 20.
Love that. Yes, I love that. I took him in the first half there. That's about as far as I'd be willing to go in that. Tom, always a pleasure, man. Continue to enjoy the madness. We'll talk to you again soon as Game Time Decisions continues on the grid.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What? How do you do this one?
Oh, Donnie, you've got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
The Knicks versus the top 3 teams in the league. Oklahoma City, Boston, Cleveland, 0-7. And you take out the 110-104 loss to Cleveland at home in October, and they lost by double digits every game. The Knicks will make the playoffs. Number 1, do they fix their defensive problems? And 2, are they actually healthy?
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
You have Duke the 1, Houston the 2. They're the 2 best defensive teams in the country. I want to see them play for the right to go to the Final Four because I think that would be a kick-ass game.
Duke is really great on both ends of the floor. They can score and they can defend, and that's why they win by big numbers all the time, because they're really good on both ends of the floor. I don't trust Houston's offense.
Pharrell coast to coast, only on SportsGrid. The Eagles got it done. If you back them, you're celebrating. Football season may be over, but the action never stops.
Are you ready for some baseball?
At SportsGrid, we're always in the game. We bring you 24/7 betting insights, expert picks, and real-time analysis. Next big play is already in motion. Are you ready? It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back in Game Time Decisions here on this Friday. And coming up here in just a couple of minutes, another very special edition of In-Game Live Bracket Central. Joe Lisi will be around along with Kevin Walsh for the next few hours, getting you caught up on everything that has happened in March Madness today. And we got some great games still to come, including number one, Florida in the Western Division there, who is underway against number 16, Norfolk State, 5-2 right now in that game, as that is just underway. We also just watched Maryland absolutely destroy one of those trendy dogs that we all heard about, Grand Canyon, a 4-13 matchup there, and it was absolutely not even watchable at any point in this in the game, as Maryland came out and absolutely smoked them in the first half, 42-28, and then it was not much different in the second half. Maryland, a 39-21 second half win, an 81-49 victory for the Terrapins, who will move on as a number 4 seed. Can you imagine? I mean, unbelievable. They didn't even make 50 points, Grand Canyon. And this was a team that was very good throughout the season. A lot of folks had them in their bracket, being that bracket buster. And not in this one. My goodness, Maryland moves on. Coming up, though, in about 25 minutes, Kentucky, the Wildcats in the Midwest region, will be taking on Troy. Still seeing 11 and a halves in that matchup there. The total we had mentioned to you earlier is it's up to about 152 and a half, 153. After it opened up, I believe 151, it's been getting a ton of love to the over, which I think is interesting given the fact that I'm not quite sure how Troy is going to add enough in this one in order to get it there. People are absolutely counting on the Troy defense not doing enough to slow down Kentucky, and Kentucky's defense not exactly, and that's been the bugaboo with this Kentucky team all year long. They haven't exactly been shutting teams down. So that, I believe, is the reason why we're seeing a ton of over money in that matchup. We will also get ready for Akron and Arizona next hour, as Arizona opened up as a 13.5 point favorite. They are now a 14.5 point favorite. And the total in that one, 166 and a half, which is pretty much what it opened in. As you can tell by that total, we're expecting some points from both teams. And if we're honest, these are two of the fastest tempo teams in the country. They have been all year. The difference is, well, Akron plays in the MAC and Arizona doesn't. And that's a big difference. And I think Akron is going to try to play Arizona's game and beat them at it. And I don't see them having a whole lot of success in that. Don't forget, faster tempo means more possessions, which means more opportunities for teams like Arizona to score on you. And that is why I have no problem laying the 14 points here with them. They will have plenty enough opportunities to run away with this game against Akron here. I like Arizona, who does exactly what Akron does, but only way better here. That game coming up at 7:50. That is in the West region. So we've got Troy and Kentucky in the Midwest, and then, of course, Akron, Arizona in the West. You will also have then coming up in the 9 o'clock hour, if we head back to the East region, Oklahoma and Connecticut, the two-time defending champs, will be at it against the Oklahoma Sooners. They opened up Oklahoma as a 4.5 point dog. They're now a 6 point dog, as Connecticut is getting some love in the marketplace, although I am seeing a lot more tickets and the public loving OU and the points in this one. But it's moving towards Connecticut here. Much more experience, and I think much better players here on UConn. Bryant, Michigan State in the East region after that. And, of course, Xavier, Illinois, and Liberty, Oregon to wrap it up. Don't forget, in-game live, a very special edition is coming up next. Joe Lisi, Kevin Walsh, they will have all the action for you. We'll see you again on Game Time Decisions. Enjoy the madness. We'll see you again soon.